Well, good morning from Puerto Plata. Where are we going next? Let's go. It's our first day here. We got in so late last night. I just gotta tell you, holy crap, what a travel story I have for you. Pretty much every weird scenario that could happen on a flight that we've never experienced kind of happened yesterday. So I'm just gonna go through that with you and then show you my view from my beautiful balcony here at Sunscape Puerto Plata. So yesterday, everything started normal. Our flight was maybe 20 minutes delayed. It was supposed to fly out of Norfolk at 6:30 and it left at 6:50. So that was fine. Everything was smooth, going along. The pilot had said that there's some weather in Miami, a front moving through and stuff. So we'll probably have a little bit of a bumpy ride as we get closer, no problem. Well, then they put us in a holding pattern as we got close to Miami because there were some severe storms going through and they were closed down to arrivals. They were letting people take off but not land. So we were in a bit of a holding pattern, but not even for long. And all of a sudden the pilot comes on and says, "Folks, we don't have enough fuel. So we're gonna have to land in West Palm Beach and refuel and then take off again and go rejoin the holding pattern. So we're not sure when we're gonna get to Miami." We were like, how do you not have enough gas? Did you not know where you were going? You saw the weather forecast. You knew that you might be put in a holding pattern. I'm kind of expecting a little bit more from you, American Airlines. Anyway, so we land in West Palm Beach. We have to refuel, get back up in the air. And by the time and then really it was like up and down. West Palm Beach to Miami is maybe a 15-minute flight. So it wasn't long, but we land in Miami. And then of course, because of all, we were delayed and everything. So our original gate was not available. They put us at a different gate, and then two planes are in the middle of moving, so our gate was blocked. So we had to sit there and wait for these planes to move. And then finally, sorry, a pigeon just flew at me. So then we get finally to the gate after these planes move. And let me tell you, the air bridge that they bring out, the girl that was trying to move it had trouble with it. So they had to go get a different one. So we're literally, I kid you not, stuck on this plane for I don't even know how long. Just sitting there, and all these people on our flight, these poor people so many people missed their connections. We were fortunate. We had a 3-hour layover, but even us, we're watching the time and we're like, our flight is supposed to be boarding at 11:22 or 11:20. It's supposed to start boarding, and it was almost 11 o'clock. And I'm like, we are still on this plane. We have not even gotten off the air bridge yet. I don't know where our gate, I knew where our gate was, but it wasn't necessarily close to where we were. And as time is ticking, I'm like, oh, we're cutting this real close, way closer than I like to cut it. So we finally get off the plane, and now it is like 11:30. And I'm like, oh my God, they've started boarding. We're screwed. So, and then I got a notification right after we got off the plane that they changed our gate. So I'm like, okay, this is good news. Usually if they're changing the gate, that means they haven't started the boarding process, obviously. So we might be okay. Maybe we're a little bit delayed. So we're running to our gate, and I hear the announcement, last and final boarding call for a flight to Santiago. And I'm thinking it's our Santiago de Ceballos, but no, it was for a different flight, Santiago. But they did say Dominican Republic, and they did say gate 40. So I was like, oh my God. And I ran up to the gate, and they're like, you're okay, we're delayed. So our flight ended up being about, delayed maybe an hour. So all that rushing and all that running for nothing, but thank God, we were just kind of like, you know, we had the 3-hour layover hoping that we'd get to use our lounge access because we really enjoy using the lounges. And then here we were, no lounge access. But we were like, you know what? Choice between hitting the lounge access or making our flight. Let's make our flight. So then the second flight, oh my God, as if it couldn't get any more interesting. A passenger ended up having a medical emergency. Thankfully, there were a couple doctors on board. One I knew because I was kind of chatting with her while we were waiting for our connecting flight. And she was telling me she was a doctor and she, you know, flies back and forth between New Jersey and DR for her certifications and everything. So I knew at least there was a doctor when they made that call out, but poor lady, I think she got a little air sickness, potentially passed out. I'm not really sure, but she was okay. But obviously when that happens, they have the paramedics meet you when you land. So we were delayed getting off the plane because the paramedics had to come and make sure the lady was okay, which of course, that's the priority. But it was just one of those things like another first. I've never been on a plane that had to land and refuel. I've never been on a plane that had a medical emergency. So finally we got off and everything, and you know, we ended up making it just way later than we had planned. We didn't get to the resort here until about 8 o'clock last night. Thankfully, the restaurants and everything are open till about 10. But I'll do another video all about our check-in process and everything so far. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to flip around and show you the view from my balcony here. It's lovely. It's a little loud this morning because they're doing the water aerobics right below me at the main pool. But inside the room, you can't hear any of it. So it's kind of nice. So let me show you around. We're going to the Italian restaurant called DeMario. So we'll let you know how that is. This is a formal dress, so we have to, you know, dress up, nice dress, and my husband has to wear long pants and closed-toed shoes. So it's something important to know if you decide to come here and go to some of the restaurants. They do have dress codes for certain restaurants, so you want to make sure you pack accordingly. I tend to pack very lightly, so I had to pay attention to that prior to make sure I brought the right attire so we could actually go enjoy all the restaurants. So I'll take you along, show you how all of that is as we enjoy our night. Okay, we are going to DeMario's here, the fancy restaurant. It's the Italian restaurant, and there it does have a dress code, like I said, but it doesn't seem like they're enforcing it too much. I just saw some people going in like shorts and tennis shoes, so but it does say that it's formal dress, so we dressed up because I wasn't sure how much they would enforce it. So we will let you know how our meal is here at DeMario's. Well, we had quite the dinner tonight. We ate at DeMario, as I showed you earlier. And what I will say is, this is the fanciest of the full-service restaurants on property. So there are, I think, 3 that are full service, and then you have the buffet, and then you have Tamarindo, and you have the beach bar as well that also serves food. So you have several options. However, these are the 3 full service ones. Now, this one is supposed to be the fanciest one, meaning that formal attire was requested. So it said things like men must wear long pants and collared shirts and closed-toed shoes, and women must wear, you know, a skirt, dress, or pants, and dress shoes. So with that, we planned accordingly. I packed an extra pair of pants for my husband that were a little dressier. He brought closed-toed shoes that normally on a beach vacation we wouldn't have been bothered with. And I just went with regular sandals, hoping that they weren't gonna look that closely at my feet, and wore a really long dress. And I'll be honest, they didn't really enforce the dress code. There were people in there in sweatpants and t-shirts. There were people in there. I mean, some people were dressed up like we were, but there were certainly also a fair amount of people that were not dressed up, that were very casual. So when you see that on the resort suggestion where they're saying that it's this dress code for this restaurant, just be understanding that that might not be the case. They might not be super strict with it. At least that was our experience. Now the service, I will say it is definitely on island time. It was a little confusing because it's a full service restaurant, so the expectation going in is that you're served all of your courses. So your soup, your salad, your main entree, and dessert. But this had like a salad bar, and there was a little confusion of when we were supposed to go get that, and the soup that they had on the menu, they did not have on the salad bar, or like on the salad bar and soup bar. So it was a little confusing in that regard. And then they finally came and took our order, but it was after a very long time. We were probably in the restaurant sitting down for at least 40 minutes before they came to take our order. And then it was like an hour before our main entree came. So I was very thinking that we actually had soup and salad because I was very hungry. We went a little later in the evening, around 8:30 or so, because we didn't want to be super early. We don't tend to eat early dinners anyway. People were obviously very friendly. The service staff was extremely friendly. The food was average. It didn't blow me away, but it also wasn't terrible. So I would say it was probably on the par of what you could get at their buffet, which was also decent food, but it's nothing that blows me away. So just know that if you're going to DeMario and you're expecting like a 5-star meal, it's not 5-star. It's okay. The atmosphere is very nice. It's very romantic, dim lighting, a very fancy place. But the fact that they don't adhere to the dress code that they tell you need to have, and then that the service is extremely slow, and then on top of that, the food is just average. I don't mind waiting for a good meal if it's extraordinary, but this was really just average. And then on top of that, the dessert, we order that at the same time as you order your main meal. I ordered tiramisu, my husband ordered a cannoli. When they finally brought our dessert, since we were one of the last people in the restaurant, since our service was so slow, they brought my husband something completely different than what he ordered. He didn't get a cannoli. He got some strawberry fluff that really didn't taste very good, and the texture of it was kind of off. The tiramisu was okay. It was decent. It wasn't like blow me away tiramisu, but the flavor was good and everything. So that's my review of that restaurant. So it wasn't the best, but certainly I've eaten at worse places. And it was more the fact that it took so long. It took so much of our evening that we didn't get to enjoy the entertainment. And honestly, the portion size was small. We ended up waiting around until the late night snack bar opened up at 11 p.m. and we went and ate again. So if that tells you anything. And we didn't get out of that restaurant till after 10 o'clock. So, the portion wasn't big. It wasn't the best food, and we were still hungry. So there you go. I think the rice that I ate at the snack bar was better. The rice and beans that I ate at the snack bar had more flavor than my mahi-mahi. So I hate to say that because I feel bad, because I understand, I want to give them a fair shot, but I gotta be honest, it wasn't the best. So we'll see if tomorrow's any better. I'll give you that experience when we go check that out tomorrow. All right, for tonight, we are dipping out, and I will catch up with you tomorrow for another fabulous day in paradise. Where are we going next? Let's go.